Hey guys, welcome to Bollox Talks and Tangents. I got Lenny over here trying to figure out how to share his show, and his microphone's up near his head, so when he starts talking, you're probably not going to hear any of what he's going to say.
I keep telling you, my voice carries.
Yes, no, it's not true, Lenny. It's not true at all. But we got an amazing show. This one's a fun one. A lot of people know a lot about these different things, and they'll know bits and pieces, but hopefully we're going to bring back some of those memories and teach you new things. Lenny's still struggling with the sharing the show.
No, the show's shared.
The show shared.
It just don't go.
Okay, what are you doing?
I'll be fine. Nothing.
Did you check the flux capacitor?
I did twice.
All right. Well, we're drinking Basil Hayden for our whiskey of the week, Lenny.
Yep.
You can join us now. Don't struggle with the technology.
Something that I won't be able to figure out regardless.
It's just going to hurt your brain.
Oh man.
And we don't want that to happen.
All right. All right.
But Rebecca says hi, because you don't have the.
I've got comments.
Oh, you got comments. You just don't have the show.
No, I just don't have the video. So.
Well, cheers, Lenny. To hopefully you get the show back. We appreciate you guys. If you would please hit that share button. But we got to go over, our sponsors.
That's exactly right.
So we have some amazing sponsors, starting with St. Augustine Distillery and Citygate Spirits. You brought in a nice mixture that we mixed with the mango daddle.
That was so good.
From Citygate. That was such a good drink. It was pineapple
juice.
Pineapple juice, just pineapple juice with the
whiskey.
The mango daddle whiskey, and it was a great drink. All right, they're located right on Sponsor Row. Get by there, try their tasting tours. You will not be disappointed. Another place you won't be disappointed, they have amazing food, and that's Meehan's Irish Pub. They have great food, great whiskey selections, a wonderful wine selection, 3 bars in one. They got Johnny's Oyster Bar, which
upstairs, yep.
Oysters are getting really good right now.
Ooh, baby, cold weather.
And then you got the regular pub inside, and then you got the backyard, which is really nice right now to sit in the backyard and just enjoy the night. So, also on Sponsor Row, the St. Augustine Pirate Museum. Cindy Stalvey and the group over there, they do an amazing job. They also do the Colonial Quarter, or the Spanish Quarter, and the Colonial Oak, where they do amazing concerts. Check out that group. They have been our sponsor since the very beginning, and we appreciate them. Also with us since the very beginning, Abare, Kresge and Associates, simply the best CPAs in town. Talked to my guys today. Missed them at trivia the last couple weeks, but they will be back soon. But Billy Abare has been my guy. He's kept me out of trouble for a long time and saves me money every year. Sandwich place. Tell us a little bit about Kaiser's.
Wonderful. Best pastrami in St. Augustine. Great sandwiches. They even named one after our show, the Bollox.
Yeah.
And, you're not going to go wrong. He's got hoagie rolls. He's got ciabattas now, which toast up beautifully. Ciabatta, it's Italian for old shoe. Uh-huh. So it's
that sounds lovely.
Well, it's a little tough, but once you get past the leathery aspect of it, it's delicious. Just watch out for the eyelets.
All right. Lenny, do you mind if I lower this?
Not in the least.
Point this up where I can actually see your face?
Oh, I'm so happy.
Oh, no.
We have something we're going to talk about today that can fix this. Don't you worry.
Oh, Lenny, I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
I should have kept my hands to myself.
It's playing right into one of our topics today.
All right, try and tighten that right there. We're having technical difficulties. Blake fixed whatever cord we had because we had to go in Studio A last week. Blake's coming in to kind of
help Blake. Okay. Or I could sit like this, not a problem. Doesn't help your vision.
I just wanted to see your face.
Lenny. I appreciate that.
Your handsome face. What happened if we turned it up that way? All right, and last but not least, Coquina. While you're looking at Blake's ass on the screen, Coquina Coast Realty. I have some openings at the Treasury Building, at the Cigar Building. We have some office space there. And just give me a call at 904-669-7901.
I can just hold
Lenny's
it.
just going to have to hold on to it.
That's
I'm sorry.
I can hold it.
Just let him, Blake, enough. Let him hold on to it.
I got you.
Sorry.
Hi there.
All right.
See, I keep telling you, we need lavaliers.
Here comes the fancy dance from Blake going across. Yeah, that's too much information there. All right. But our drink of the week, we already talked about Yeah, Rebecca says never touch another man's
Microphone, right?
board. Is Basil Hayden, one of my favorites. I forgot. I haven't had it in a little bit.
Oh, delicious.
It's just, I mean, for just a good sipping bourbon, and it's very affordable. It's an under $50 bottle. And
Yeah. Which in this day and age is good because bourbon's getting pricey.
yeah, and a lot of people, I make fun of Jim Beam as being a bourbon, but Basil Hayden is a Jim Beam product.
Yeah.
So I can no longer pick on Jim Beam, and I have a buddy who drinks Jim Beam, and I was like, oh,
I do as a rule.
Yeah.
If I'm going out to a bar and I'm trying to keep it, low end, or if somebody's buying me a drink and I don't want to abuse them, I'll just go with the Jim Beam.
yeah. So, but this is so. I forgot how good it was.
No, I got it.
Hey, you got it. We can't hear you, Blake, so it's okay.
Don't touch the microphone again.
Yeah.
We can just ignore them now.
Yeah. All right, word origin.
You go first.
Okay, my word origin is a word that kind of fits into the week. It is a word sinister. Sinister. Now you know
What are you implying? I took Latin for 6 years and won the Latin medal in Long Beach High School.
I can say UBS Rana.
UBS Rana?
Yeah, do you know what it means?
Yeah,
You took Latin
the city is a frog.
No, Ubi means where.
Yeah.
Where is the frog? So, Rana es en Huila. The frog is in the house. That's all I got.
All right, good.
I can do Ursa and I can do Equus, but that's the only sentences I have. All right. So sinister is also a Latin word. Lenny, you are just still putting yourself together.
I'm multitasking. I'm good. I'm listening. I'm participating.
You're putting yourself together over here.
Hi, folks. Hi, baby. I love you.
I think he's with us now. But sinister actually is Latin,
Yes,
and it means left.
correct.
Okay, so left-handed people were considered to be
Evil,
cursed,
right?
And the term sinister came to be evil, and even in old times they would say the devil. I guess it's still
Made me do it.
the devil would baptize with his left hand, and it's 87% of the world is right-handed, and 13% is left-handed.
And 13 is that
very sinister
number.
All right, but one of the weirdest things, because I throw right-handed, but I hit left-handed. My dad felt like I was going to be a fast guy, so he taught me to hit left-handed. I play golf left-handed. If I hit with a hockey stick, I'm left-handed.
Okay.
All right.
What do you write with?
My right hand.
Okay.
And I eat with my right hand. But here's the weird part. Golfers in the United States, it's about 80-20 golfers left and right. Maybe a little bit less on the left side. All right. In Canada, it's almost 50-50.
Really?
Do you know why?
Because of the hockey.
Because of hockey.
Yeah.
Because of hockey. So it's just the way they've learned to hold the stick.
Yep, makes sense.
So and that's the reason. There's the percentage of hockey or golfers in Canada are almost 2-1 to the United States that play golf left-handed. So,
I wonder if Happy Gilmore's a lefty or a righty.
no, he's righty in the movie.
Okay.
So, he's righty in the movie. Yeah, he's definitely righty in the movie.
Poor Bob Barker.
Yeah. Price is wrong, Bob. But sinister actually means left.
Yep.
And, I feel like the left got a little beat up this week.
Yeah.
On the political world.
Yeah. True that. And that's why, and it's interesting because, from that, from sinistra comes sinister, but also right-handed in Latin is the root of dexterous. Mm-hmm. So, that comes out of the Latin too. So you have sinistra and dexter.
Yeah. So if you're ambidextrous, you can use both.
Correct.
Or if you're amphibious.
You swim with the frog in its house.
Yeah. Rana.
Exactly.
Rana. All right. But we got a fun show. You have another word origin. What's your word origin?
Well, we discovered a couple things. Blake fixed my microphone, and I was able to say, Eureka!
Eureka!
So, because we're talking
Ronald
about...
Reagan's college.
Oh, okay. That's where Dutch went.
He went to Eureka.
Yeah.
He
And
played
there's
football.
a city in Northern California as well.
That's where the college is.
Really? That makes sense. I thought he was from Iowa or Illinois. I thought he was from Iowa.
But he went to Eureka.
Okay. It's nice up there. That's up in the north part of California. It's beautiful in the redwoods, the forest. When people make discoveries, they always go, Eureka! Mm-hmm. Well, the first person to scream Eureka did it and then proceeded to run naked down the streets in Greece. It was Archimedes, one of the greatest mathematicians of all time.
Oh, okay.
And Archimedes was friendly with King Hero, Hiero II.
Okay.
And I guess King Hero wasn't as trusting as he should have been, but I think he was correct in not being so trusting in the case that he gave a goldsmith a big piece of gold and encouraged him to make a crown for him. Mm-hmm. And, the king said, I'm not quite so sure that this guy used all my gold in the crown. I think he filled it with some other metal and took some of the gold for himself. Mm-hmm. So he said, Archimedes, figure this out for me. So Archimedes did it because at one point in time he was in one of the Greek baths, and as he popped into the tub, he saw the water flow out of the tub, and he figured out buoyancy and displacement at the time. So he said, if it works for me, I can do the same thing. And he took a piece of gold that was ostensibly the same weight as the gold the king gave to the goldsmith to make the crown, and put that in water and saw what the displacement was. And then he took the crown and put the crown in the water, and less water came out. The crown was lighter than the gold, so they went and put the screws to the goldsmith, who eventually confessed and said, yeah, sorry, king, I stole your gold. I don't think it worked out too well for the goldsmith.
Yeah, he wasn't hanging around much longer.
But that was it. But when Archimedes figured out this buoyancy and displacement situation, he literally jumped out of the tub and ran down the street screaming Eureka, naked as he was going. And Eureka means, I have found it.
I have found it.
I have found it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and I'm assuming the city of Eureka in California, they found gold there.
Well, it's also the California state motto.
Okay.
So makes sense.
Blake, can you pull up a picture of Ronald Reagan in his Eureka uniform?
Fact checking.
I think there's a famous one with him wearing the E on it, stuff like that. So, all right. So we have inventions that weren't the intentions.
Correct.
Okay, inventions that weren't the intentions. And there are so many to go by. A lot of people are probably going to throw some things at us, and we'll try and react to some of those if you guys want us to talk about some of those. But the one to me that I wanted to start off with was penicillin.
Yeah.
And penicillin, I think has saved a lot of lives. A lot of people are allergic to penicillin.
Interestingly enough.
But it was discovered in 1928. And it's one of the first antibiotics that existed out there. I mean, there was some other stuff that was out there. It was Dr. Alexander Fleming. He, changed medicine with this, and the irony of it was he left the concoction in a petri dish, went on vacation.
Yeah, Staphylococcus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he went on vacation for 2 weeks, and when he came back, none of the bacteria had grown, and it prevented the mold. And that's when he's like, "Oh, this is going to work." So, if he just keeps going with it, he might not have discovered it if he hadn't went on vacation.
Right.
He might have never figured it out.
He realized when he came back from vacation, he realized the mold had a secretion that stopped the growth of the bacteria. And he was, as you said, he was agog. I wonder if he said Eureka.
I wonder if he did say Eureka.
I found it.
Yeah, I found it. But I mean, to me, on our list of things, and we each have about 10 different items on our list, and there was probably 50 or 60, and some of them were just kind of discoveries out of observation.
Right.
It wasn't the intent, but it was a kind of a discovery out of observation. But to me, this one was could be the most important in the history of our world right now.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. It's interesting the fact that people were looking for some result, and they had to have the prescience of mind to realize that oh, wait a second, this can be used for something else. You know, some of them were accidental discoveries, like, you know, when we talk about the Slinky and things like that. But, you know, they had to realize that, oh, wait, we can do something else with this. Some of them failed as the original product, and they got the byproduct out of it, and they made gajillions.
Yeah.
So, you know, the first one didn't work, and everything else did.
Yeah. So, you know, we have some old ones. We have some newer ones in history. Where do you want to go from there? Or do you want to talk about penicillin anymore?
No. But I do want to bring up something.
Are you allergic to penicillin?
I'm not, but that's an interesting question because you watch all these, you know, now medicines are advertised on television and there are these fancy commercials. There's songs, there's dance, there's flowers, there's people, there's hippopotamuses. They're all doing everything. And, you know.
Dancing hippopotamuses?
Oh, yeah. Well, that was Fantasia, too.
Yeah.
And you get the disclaimer at the end of the commercial, you know, could cure you, could kill you, could cause blindness.
Oh, yeah.
Don't take it if you're allergic to it.
Yeah.
How the hell do you know if you're allergic to a new medication if you haven't taken the medication?
I don't understand that. And I'm sorry, you know, when you say stuff like, oh, it could cause anal bleeding,
right?
It's off my list.
Right. Anal leakage is not something I want.
It's off my list.
Right.
You know, I don't like doing laundry that much. And no, it's off my list. So,
but but every one of them says, don't take this if you're allergic to it. How would you know you were allergic to it? That's the question I keep asking.
yeah, because I randomly, and the only thing I'm allergic to, and when I tell people this, they're like, oh, does it make your clothes fall off? I'm allergic to tequila.
Oh.
Okay, and I don't know if it's the process of tequila. We did a test, and this is how stupid we were on our radio show. I did have an EMT in there with an EpiPen, but we did a test to see if I was allergic to the agave.
Okay.
Because it's one of the more common things, and it wasn't the agave. I had no problem with it. Nothing happened or anything like that. So it has to be something in the process of the tequila, and it's gotten worse each time.
Okay.
And that's the reason I used to do mixed drinks, but now I just do Jameson and ginger, or straight bourbon.
Right.
But I would carry, and I still usually have in my car, Benadryl.
Okay.
In case I get a cross-contamination.
So,
because if it's in the shaker and they don't clean it,
right,
I can start feeling it in my lips. My lips start tingling, and yeah.
Interesting. Not that I'm encouraging you to try this until, we vet this. What about mezcal?
I don't know if mezcal is, I don't like it.
Okay.
So it's one of those things I have never really tried it.
I like mezcal more than tequila.
But I was able to drink tequila up until about 10 years ago.
Interesting.
And it's like all of a sudden I met my limit of tequila in the world. So
I say that all the time. I reach quotas on things. I can only do so much of this. I've done it all. So from the rest of it, I don't get it.
And it actually turns me a shade of purple that's not pretty. So, are you allergic to anything?
Nothing I'm aware of.
Okay, all right. That's a wonderful thing.
I mean, I used to be, probably not clinically allergic to polyester, but I'm close to breaking out in hives where polyester. And interestingly, fabric manufacturing has changed to the fact that polyester is not as obnoxious as it is anymore.
No, it used to be very irritant.
Right, it breathes better and things like that. I couldn't wear polyester.
Yeah, it used to be very irritant, and I was in high school. I discovered thrift stores.
Oh yeah,
and there was a lot of polyester in the '80s in thrift stores, and some of my ugliest shorts that I wore purposely to annoy my parents came out of the thrift stores that were polyester. And it was uncomfortable for everyone who was involved. So, but
you probably didn't chafe.
No, I did not. All right. What's the next one on your list there?
I want to go with the microwave.
The microwave. Okay.
It's a common tool in the home kitchen nowadays. Though I will, question people's placement on them because now people are putting microwaves below counter instead of on the counter or above the counter. And now there's some that are, under the counter level, which I think is kind of a goofy place to put it, and I'm short, it's like almost eye level for me. But microwaves, they figured it out in 1945. A guy by the name of Percy LeBaron Spencer. He's probably the Duke or Earl of something over in England. I don't know with a name like that. But he was working for Raytheon Technologies. And they were working with magnetrons. And they were emitting radio signals, and they were trying to figure out radar.
Is that one of the transformers?
That's Megatron.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I also think he played for the Detroit Lions, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay. Great receiver.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. Man, he was good. Holy cow, Calvin Johnson. But the guy was working on these and the magnetrons, and they emit radio waves as signals for a radar. And the guy realized that, they kept melting the candy bar in his pocket. So he said, wait a second, there's got to be another application for this. And he realized that it would heat things. And they started giving them that was in 1945, which was really kind of interesting because they would use these as radar installations, and like in the Korean War and places like that. Even strangely enough, I heard stories about guys in Hawaii, because they'd be up on the top of a mountain, and Hawaii is gorgeous and beautiful, but you get on top of these mountains, there's snow and it gets cold up there. These guys would stand in front of the big radar dish because they would get warm. And they didn't realize until much later they were radiating themselves.
Probably not great.
Yeah, no, it didn't make for a long life.
Probably not good for their innards.
No, but they were toasty.
Yeah.
And then they were toasted. So
they were slow cooking themselves.
Pretty much, yeah. They were warm, but it was not the way you want to get warm. So that's how they kind of figured this whole thing out. And then in 1967, they started applying them to domestic use. So
yeah.
I
don't use my microwave as much as I used to, because I have an air fryer now.
Yeah.
So, and I use my air fryer to heat up stuff that I didn't use, that I used to use in the microwave. So I tell you what I do, and I did it today. I do a lazy man egg in the microwave.
Okay. Yeah.
So what I do is I take a paper plate, put a little bit of olive oil on it. All right. Crack an egg, put it on top of the olive oil. Just leave it just like that. Put whatever seasoning you want on that egg. Put another paper plate over top of it. Put it in the microwave for a minute. Perfect egg.
It doesn't stick to the plate?
Doesn't stick to the plate because you got the olive oil underneath.
No, I understand that, but I would think that it would stick to the paper plate.
It doesn't stick to the paper plate. The olive oil underneath it. You kind of scrape it off and make a great egg sandwich. That's what I had for breakfast this morning. That's my cheater egg.
Okay.
And that way I don't have to.
Do you toast the bread?
I didn't this morning.
Okay.
I like white bread. If I toast bread, I'm usually doing cinnamon bread.
Oh, okay.
So I
wouldn't make an egg sandwich on a cinnamon bread.
Huh?
I don't think I would make.
No, those two do not coincide together. Yeah. But that's my cheater egg, and also I have a cheater omelet the same way. You do it in a small bowl with olive oil. You mix it up. You throw in whatever meat you want and cheese you want and everything and veggies you want, and it makes a perfect omelet in 1 minute in the microwave.
Nice.
So that's my cheater breakfast.
Whenever I have half a jar of tomato sauce, if I use if I'm making a pasta and I use tomato sauce, or if I'm making a sauce or a soup or a stock or something, and I've got a container of chicken broth and there's still some left in it, I'll take the chicken broth and the tomato sauce and I'll put them in ice cube trays. And take the leftovers, so I'm not wasting it, not throwing it out, and it doesn't turn in the refrigerator. And I'll pop them out, put them in a Ziploc bag, throw them in the freezer. And I use the microwave to thaw those out when I'm doing something, so that I don't, because I don't want to bother putting the ice cube of chicken stock in the pan when I'm making a sauce. I thaw it out and then use it to make the sauce.
Yeah. But I mean, it was used to be so easy with microwave when you were in college and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
You just throw. But the air fryer now has changed everything.
Yeah.
Like reheating a slice of pizza in the air fryer just gives it a different life.
It's interesting because I don't use my air fryer for that. I will say I am very happy with my air fryer to roast potatoes. Take a potato, peel it up, cube it, toss it in a little bit of olive oil, and now that they have those little parchment paper liners for the thing, it's even cleaning up.
Yeah, the cleanup's better.
So I'll do that, and I'll roast the potatoes in there and make great roast potatoes in the air fryer. But chicken on the bone, chicken wings, chicken thighs on the bone, skin on, skin off, outstanding. It's great.
My chicken wings in the air fryer, I absolutely love.
Yep, it's wonderful.
I did do a good deep fried in my fryer, a barbecue. I marinated it in a barbecue mix and threw a little daddle flavor from Menorca and Mike's.
Yeah,
and that barbecue chicken was pretty good, wasn't it, Blake?
That was some really good chicken.
Yeah.
See, but I
Did you
don't.
eat the leftovers? I went to go for it. And they were gone.
I didn't have any of the leftovers.
Okay. All right.
Maybe they're still there.
The mystery meat.
All right.
So.
But I still use my toaster oven to reheat pizza and reheat things. I use the toaster oven. I don't use the air fryer for reheating. It seems, and I can't, in good conscience, bake a cake in an air fryer. I mean, it's just a little convection oven, but I just can't do it. Goes against my Hippocratic oath as a chef.
I understand. All right. So what do we got next? We both have this miracle medicine that was for angina.
Which we needed earlier today because my microphone kept flopping.
Yeah.
So Viagra, they figured out in 1998 that they were using Viagra for angina, blood pressure, things of that nature.
Yeah. It was more heart related and blood flow.
And they kept finding out that the people that were taking it, the men got erections. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, hell with the blood pressure. We're onto something here.
More money and sex.
Yep, absolutely. So that's where the Viagra, the sildenafil citrate came from. It might lower your blood pressure, but it also helps you with everything else.
Yeah. So, in a lot of the trial phases and stuff like that's where they found out that this was it, and that's when they shifted the marketing. It's still supposed to help with angina and a heart and some of those other things, and it's basically a steroid supplement, because I don't know if you know this, athletes purposely will use the maximum prescribed level of Viagra because it boosts their testosterone so much as a substitute for steroids. And it's completely legal.
I'm just trying to watch a guy try to get into his cup with a big erection.
It's completely legal. And if it lasts 4 hours, it's right playing that way during a game.
That's what I'm thinking, man.
But I don't know if you knew that. That's the get around. Blake, did you realize that?
Yeah, I definitely knew. I think like Chad Ochocinco like admitted on a podcast that he used it during like big games, like when it was like super snowing out.
How did he get his cup on?
Well, those guys don't wear cups. Wide receivers don't wear cups. Shortstops wear cups. Football players rarely wear cups.
Yeah, I know. That's why they shouldn't be punching the balls out. They should be trying to punch the ball out. They should be punching the balls. He'll drop the ball.
The catcher's got to wear one. You'd be surprised how many baseball players don't wear cups.
Yeah, I would.
When I played the outfield, I didn't wear a cup.
Yeah, they're not comfortable. They're not comfortable.
When I played, no, absolutely not.
Not comfortable.
No, it's not something you go, oh, let me put my cup on today.
Right, exactly.
But when the day you forget it,
they do a cup check. I'm not talking Mitch.
And we had coaches that would do that with the fungo bat and just as you're stretching during the stretch, and if he knew you didn't have it on, it'd be like, bah! Oh.
So
I'll be right back, coach.
Right. There's another drug that ended up having a similar experience as Viagra, and called Propecia.
Okay.
And Propecia was a drug that was designed to reduce enlarged prostates. And an interesting byproduct. How's your prostate?
I've never heard of this.
Because it grows hair.
What?
The guys that took it.
They have stuff like
they
that?
They do.
Hair is so annoying. I didn't like having hair.
It comes out all parts of your body, too. Go figure.
No. I mean, you don't really lose your hair. It relocates.
Exactly. Your ears, nose, right. So, no doubt.
So Propecia was
for
what was it?
For prostate.
For the prostate.
Yep.
Wow. That's in a different location.
Yeah.
I mean, at least,
you could have
Viagra
balls,
was for blood flow, and but that's a different location altogether.
Yeah.
Top of your head to your ass. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Did it ever work for the prostate?
I don't think they gave up. I think they found
more money.
Right, absolutely.
More money and vanity.
No doubt about it.
That's what they discovered with Viagra. More money and vanity.
Yep.
So, all right. Here's another one. Keeping in that kind of awkward location. Vaseline.
Okay.
All right. So Vaseline, Robert Augustus Cheeseborough from Cheeseborough Ponds.
Right. Yeah, sure.
All right. Made a little bit of money with Vaseline.
Couple bucks.
All right. And Vaseline is actually a product name. It's petroleum jelly is what it actually is.
Right.
It's like Band-Aid.
Thank you, your oil industry. Right. Kleenex, Frigidaire. Yeah.
But he was 22 years old.
Really?
He was 22 years old when he discovered he was a chemist, and he decided to head to town, and the product had been discovered playing around with a little bit, but awkward the way I put that together.
Thank you.
But he was watching the guys on the oil rigs and the petroleum, and they were using the petroleum to help with cuts.
The crude oil.
And the crude oil, and to help with cuts and with their skin irritations. And he's like, wait, that might work. So this one wasn't more of an accident. It was more of a discovery of observation.
An inspiration.
Yeah, observation. And he kind of cleaned it up and made it what it is still today.
Yeah. All right.
And we're talking it's over 100 years now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And it's white petroleum jelly.
yes.
Not to be confused with crude oil.
No, not with crude oil.
Right.
Not with crude oil.
Right.
All right. All right. What? Let me look at your list over here.
I got bubble wrap, crazy glue, slinky.
All right. Let's go with crazy glue because that's super glue.
Okay.
So,
yeah, crazy glue, super glue. Cyanoacrylic. It's a cyanoacrylic. They were trying to, and this is the Kodak company, by the way.
Yep.
We're trying to develop
Eastman Kodak.
a plastic for gun sights.
Yep. Well, it was during World War II.
Yep.
So it was in 42.
And they ended up making this, but it became too sticky, so they couldn't use it for the gun sights. So Dr. Harry Coover, who was it, he said, well, let's see. It becomes an adhesive. And it's interesting.
Well,
because,
it kind of sat around for a little bit after the war. Like he kept going with the gun sights,
Right.
but it still stayed in the lab,
Right.
and it was more of an irritant.
well, he stuck to it.
Yeah. I got to give you. I'll
Thank
give
you.
you half
you.
credit on
Thank
that
you.
one. But I mean, it was around the lab and stuff like that. It was almost an irritant. Like, okay, we're going to do something with it, but we don't know what we're going to do with it. We're going
Right.
to do something with it. We don't know what we're going to do with it.
But this is another one that had one of those interesting alternate uses and byproducts, and it came about in the Vietnam War. They would use, and you see it now in a lot of TV shows and stuff, to seal cuts.
Yeah.
So you use crazy glue to seal a cut or a rip in the skin if you got a knife wound or a bullet wound or something, and you need to close something on your abdomen or you've got enough room.
Have you ever used super glue on a cut?
Not on a cut, but I've got fingers stuck together.
All right. So I don't know if you can see that scar right there.
Oh yeah.
See that nice scar right there?
Yep.
All right. So 1994.
Okay.
Okay. The day O.J. Simpson is in the white Bronco. Okay. I am loading up my Sea-Doo into a little Ford Ranger at my sister's house. I was keeping my Sea-Doo at my sister's house in Deltona, Florida. I was living it's the 1 year I left St. Augustine.
Okay.
And I was down in Seminole County. But I had my Sea-Doo there. I was loading up my Sea-Doo, and as I was loading up the Sea-Doo, and I just got this Ford Ranger, and it came off of the side, the driveway a little bit, and it dropped, and it lunged the Sea-Doo forward. I tried to catch the Sea-Doo so it didn't hit the Ford Ranger.
Yeah.
The tongue of the Sea-Doo hits and explodes my thumb.
Ouch.
It literally explodes. My thumb is in about 10 different directions, flesh in every different direction. I'm playing in, and this was, I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, and that's a different word origin.
Right, exactly. We'll say that for
in
next week.
itself. But I like grab it, and my sister's like, "Are you okay?" And so I go inside, and I'm literally just like woozy. I mean, it's intense. I have a tournament that's a cash paying tournament that I have to play in. I was playing softball. I was making more money on the weekends than I was during the week working for the government. So it was a cash tournament. So I was making about $300 for that weekend that I had to play in. I had gambling debts that I don't want to talk about. I didn't want to. The thumb would have been nothing.
Right. They would have taken the thumb.
So what I had my sister do is I had my sister give me a tube of super glue, and I took tweezers and I super glued my thumb back together. It works. Well, let me tell you, it's the same as putting your finger on fire.
Yeah.
So super glue will work in a wound situation, but holy snikes, does it not feel good?
Yeah.
So, but that's the only scar I have,
But you got your thumb, baby.
and I saved my thumb.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I played that weekend. And I normally played shortstop for that team. I had to play second base because I couldn't hold on to the ball with my thumb.
Okay.
So, but that's my super glue moment, and I've used super glue a couple of different times, but that was the one where I almost passed out.
Yeah.
with
I
the
can
pain.
understand why when your
with
thumb
the pain.
explodes. Yeah, for sure.
So, but I mean,
Good stuff.
you know, this adhesive, he literally in 42 he discovered it doing the
Right.
gun sights,
Right.
but it didn't hit the market until 51.
Right.
So, and he was able to monetize it for Kodak. So, all right, I found this one interesting. Matches. All right, and I don't think you have this one on your list.
I do not have Fafaro.
All right, and it was in 1826.
Okay.
All right, and I thought this guy only did alcohol. It was John Walker, not Johnny Walker.
Not Johnny Walker?
Not Johnny Walker.
He's my friend.
It was John Walker. He was a chemist, and John Walker, he discovered matches when he accidentally scraped a stick coated with chemicals, the chemicals that he was working with. It was a stick coated with chemicals across his hearth, and found that it caught fire. It immediately caught fire. He's like, let's try that again.
Right.
And he tried it again, and the originals were called friction lights. Okay, so you use the friction, and he perfected it. It started out with cardboard, and he then perfected it using wooden splints and sandpaper. So a lot of people don't realize, you know, they think matches have been around for a long, long time,
Right.
but it was well after 1826, and you know, when I think of matches, you know, the three cigarette rule of
Right.
of
Three on a match?
of
Yeah.
three on a match
Yeah.
from the Civil War.
Yeah.
All right. And in case you guys don't know what the three
Yeah.
on a match rule,
You wanna be the first or second.
The third person is the one who gets shot. And during the Civil War, if you lit a match, because matches were rare, you lit a match to light the cigarette. The first one you couldn't really get a good aim. The second one you couldn't get a good aim. But by the third one, you were able to aim, and the snipers were able to hit you. So you never wanted to be the third on the match.
Yep. No, makes perfect sense.
It's bad luck.
It's funny we were talking earlier because now it's it's safety matches and please close cover before striking stuff. I'm a big fan, and you can I don't know that they still make them even, but every now and again you see a box of Ohio Blue Tip Strike Anywhere.
Yep.
Those are great because right on a wall on the sole of your shoe. You can flick it with your fingernail and light them all up. That's really pretty groovy.
Yeah, no, and match. I mean, if you're ever a trail person or anything like that, the matches that you can get wet and those. I mean,
Yeah.
they're phenomenal. They're ridiculous what they can do. Because I mean, I probably went on the trail like 5 or 6 years, and it rained almost every year. Because I went in the summertime, and believe me, it was such a pain if your matches got wet and you didn't have those dry matches that could be. Even if they got wet, you were able to light them.
Right. Which is good.
All right, we got to talk about our sponsors. First one we're going to go in reverse order. Coquina Coast Realty. Give me a call at 904-669-7901. Kaiser's Deli and Market. Maybe lunch tomorrow. I don't know.
That's a possibility.
Kaiser's, just the best deli in town. They have a lot of local products in their market there. Wonderful guys. What's the address?
It's 4 White Street. It's
White Street.
Just on the bend before you get to coming from the beach. It's on the bend before you get to the Bridge of Lions, and coming from town, it's just past the miniature golf course on your right-hand side.
Yeah, the miniature golf's on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Kaiser's is on the left-hand side coming from the Bridge Alliance.
2 doors away from Gypsy Cab Company.
Exactly.
That's someplace everybody knows.
All right.
And you know what? If you're a beer drinker, he has got a great selection of beers. He's got some nice wines in there, but he's got a great selection of interesting and exotic beers. He's got everything from Little Miller hand grenades or nips all the way up to some really great European beers.
Yeah. No, I mean, just a wonderful guy. Kaiser.
Well, that's true,
Kurt's just a wonderful guy. All right. Also, wonderful people. St. Augustine Pirate Museum over there. They do an amazing job. They have over 800 original artifacts. They've been one of our original sponsors. Captain Mayhem's been in here a couple times. I owe him a trip to his podcast. But they just do an incredible job over there. Me and Maeve will go over there and just do a little getaway for a couple hours and absolutely love it.
And you know what? If you have kids, if you got little kids, and even for adults, as a matter of fact, I recommend going through the museum because it's always changing. It's always great. But if you need something as a gift, or if you're looking for something to flesh out, whether it's a costume or a theme of some nature, their gift shop's got some really great and interesting stuff in there too.
And it's well priced.
Yes,
So,
and you can go, and you don't have to go into the museum. I'm not trying to take.
They have really cool stuff. Maeve, who's 5 now, she just turned 5. But they have really cool little gadgets and games for kids, and they model it. I believe for the kids that come here for the
School trips.
the school trips.
Sure.
And it's very, very affordable.
Yep.
So just a wonderful place. If you haven't made it
Yeah, it
there,
really
make
is
sure you
great.
make it there. All right, Abare, Kresge and Associates. These guys are the ones that make sure you have enough money to
all
go
groovy.
wherever you want to go. Abare, Kresge and Associates, the best CPAs in town. Give them a call if you're starting a new business, or if you're looking for someone to help you write a business plan. These are the guys that'll help you out. All right, I'm going to let you talk about Meehan's.
You know what? It's our favorite place in town. It really is. Julie and I have spent the last 5 Christmas Eves there, sitting up at the oyster bar, bottle of wine, couple dozen oysters, maybe a little mac and cheese for shits and giggles. But always a couple dozen oysters. Sit up at the oyster bar.
Their
It's
mac and
Christmas
cheese.
Eve.
The only person who makes better mac and cheese than Reggie is Blake.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard
So
that.
you
I
haven't
haven't,
had Blake's mac and cheese?
I haven't had Blake's mac and cheese. I
Okay,
haven't had
so
your chili.
it's coming.
They keep dangling in front of me, and I keep
right.
I keep running on the treadmill.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
Kenny, who's watching, his birthday was a couple weeks ago. I made him a batch, and I think he was okay with it.
Good.
I think he was
He
satisfied.
survived.
Yeah, him, and I actually made a batch for Davey for his birthday.
Nice. Nice.
But
I'll remind you in February.
in February,
There you
remind
go.
me, and
I
I'll make
will.
you a batch for your birthday.
I'll give you more than enough notice.
All right. Citygate Spirits and St. Augustine Distilleries. These guys,
Fabulous.
They load us up, and I wish I could turn the camera to what our bar looks like over here.
Right.
It is continuously growing.
Right.
What I'll do is I'll take a picture and I'll post what the bar looks like on our Bollox page. But it's
Yeah.
kind of impressive how much booze we've actually went through on just the Thursday nights.
Yeah. Don't tell my doctor that. I told him I'm drinking less.
Yeah, but you told him you drink on Thursdays, right?
I told him I drink on Thursdays and occasionally on Tuesdays. And the trivia, I'm down to like maybe once a month. I'm drinking way too much iced tea, but it's unsweetened.
And speaking of Tuesday, I did have a shot. I did a pickleback shot.
I saw that. I was impressed by the pickleback.
with Keith, and Keith was one of the candidates. He unfortunately
Came up
did
a
not
little short, but you know what?
He unfortunately did not win.
I would support
But
him any day.
I wanted to say thank you to all the candidates. If you won or lost,
Right.
you put yourself out there.
Right.
It really bothers me when people start going on the attack after. Be a gracious winner and understand what the other side's going through.
Look.
Everyone's faced disappointments. If you're ever a competitive person and you play in sports and do anything like that, you understand what it feels like to take a loss.
And it's
If you
very
don't have that
personal.
if you don't have that compassion, I really am sorry that you missed out on that in life. Because you got to have the compassion for the loss to be a gracious winner.
Right. And you need to understand that because, if you are running for office, and I was very successful, I had 2 elective terms up in New York, but you got to realize that you're elected to represent not only the people that vote for you, but everybody else in that community. So you really just have to be fair-minded about it and do the job to the best interest. It's public service. It's not the people that paid for your campaign or the special interests. And I was fortunate never to have to get involved with special interests, but there are a lot of people that do this out of public service. and make a contribution to the quality of life in their communities. And that's what it's about, especially at the local level.
Yep.
You know, the national level is just, you know, it's rarefied air that's so far from a little bit of reality nowadays. But you know what? The people that run locally, your city commissioners in the beach and in St. Augustine, your county commissioners, your sheriffs, these are the people that affect your quality of life on a daily basis, and they need your support and respect, whether you voted for them or not. The job that they do affects your life, and it's important.
Oh, and we lost this a lot with social media because it's easy to hide behind the keyboard. You know, and I think David just put in there compassion is the word he put in, and that's exactly where you need to be. People have lost the compassion for the other person because it's so easy to hide behind your keyboard.
Right.
You know, and to have they're never that mean face to face.
No, the anonymity is protective, and it shouldn't be.
All right. My next invention.
Oh, coming back.
Yeah, my next invention without the intention goes to that compassion portion of it.
Okay.
Because this is a person who thought he was inventing something to help minors. Not that's ER, not OR. Minors, and that's Alfred Nobel.
Okay.
So everybody knows about the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah. Didn't people call him Boom Boom?
Yeah. But not a lot of people know that he was the inventor of dynamite.
Right.
Now
So he made his fortunes.
He didn't do nitroglycerin. That was Sobrero who did nitroglycerin. But Alfred Nobel was the first person to be able to contain it.
Stabilize it.
And stabilize it. He invented it to help get through mines, dig through a little bit deeper and get to the, supposedly help enhance people's lives.
Right.
He did not expect his invention to become a weapon.
Right. Well, that was not his intention. Exactly.
It was never his intention.
Right.
So his intention clearly was not that.
Right.
So and for his gift back to society, he created the Nobel Prizes.
You know, at some point in time, we could probably do another show on inventions or things that have been bastardized for evil as opposed to for good, because some of this stuff gets swamped and goes the wrong way and doesn't do positive things. You know.
And one of his things, and part of the Nobel Prize, and a lot of people don't know this, is a lot of people lost life because of his invention, including his own brother Emil.
Oh.
So his own brother Emil, as they were trying to work on it and perfect it, actually lost his life during that experimental phase.
Yeah.
So.
It's tough.
But I mean, a lot of people don't associate the Nobel Peace Prize with dynamite.
No, and they don't know. I mean, they know the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know if they know, or the Nobel Prizes. I don't know if they know Alfred Nobel.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know. But hopefully, you know, we're teaching people.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a
learn.
we have a bright audience. You know, we have a very bright audience.
And that's the whole thing. I mean, David just said Ozempic. He joined in late.
You know what? It's funny you mention that because when we were talking about the theme on Tuesday, this is the one that Julie brought up. Exactly.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And
that was on Tuesday.
That was Tuesday.
I thought we talked about it tonight. And it was like, wow.
No, Tuesday. Yeah. Hi there.
I'm getting old.
And Mr. Hartzell, all I have to say to you is thank you, sir. You are a gentleman and a wonderful person. And for Barbara Jean, groovy is the word. Groovy. I'm back.
Groovy. And
thank you for that personal aside.
And I can tell you this, and people go, you know, on the morning show, you do that every day? I was like, yeah, that's how I get my day going.
Yeah.
And with Davey and Pete and having the three of us three completely different personalities in the same room, I think it wakes up all three of us and it starts our day right. So
and a lot of other people's as well.
Thank you to Davey and Pete for starting every single day with that, and you know, getting to work with Pete or with my son Blake tonight and every morning is just an absolute pleasure. But the next one I want to talk about is a more celebratory accidental invention.
Okay.
You want to talk a little bit about
the Slinky?
Nope. Champagne.
That's Father Dom Perignon to you. Yes.
Yes, but it was because of the altitudes and the way the grapes were. Dom Perignon, Dom Pierre Perignon, was working for the Catholic Church and tried to handle the situation in 1666. And that's when he stumbled across in the fermentation. He was trying to extend the life of the wine in the fermentation, and all of a sudden it started to get a little suzzy and
It got a little bubbly. Yeah.
And the creator, and everybody knows about Dom Perignon, but a lot of times they don't realize
Yeah.
he was the creator of champagne.
Yep.
So, or the champagne method, or what the region.
Yeah.
And it can only be called champagne
If it's grown in.
if it's grown,
Right.
if those grapes are grown in that region.
Otherwise, it's method champenoise.
Yes, method champenoise or
Sparkling wine. Exactly.
Yeah, sparkling
Yep.
wine.
And there's a lot of good sparkling wines that don't come from Champagne. But I was privileged enough years ago to go to France, and we flew into. It was wacky. We flew into Luxembourg, and drove to Paris, but we drove through Champagne, and I'm telling you, you know the big houses in Epernay, you know the Dom Renarts, the Dom Perignon, the Vive Clicquot, Bollinger, you know all those big name champagnes, Perrier-Jouet, but there's like where's the Viagra?
Uh-oh. He lost it.
I'm back.
You're doing good.
I'll hold it.
You're going to have to hold on to it.
All right.
You only got 9 minutes. You have to hold on
I
to
can do it.
Okay.
I can do it. But you go and you see a little wooden sign hanging outside of a gate or a stone wall, and these are small producers, and you can go in and taste and buy some of the best champagne you're ever going to come across. But they don't make enough to export. They don't make enough to sell broadly. But
do
it's
you like
fabulous.
champagne?
I do. I do very much.
I've never really. I've done the celebratory champagne and the toast, and I'll sip one, but it gives me a headache. And a champagne or sparkling with a mimosa, I can handle. But my mimosa for 4th of July.
4th of July mimosas?
Who doesn't have a 4th of July mimosa?
America.
I thought everybody had one.
America.
Well, let me tell you this. You take the champagne, you use the blue Gatorade.
Okay.
All right, so you use the blue Gatorade, just a splash to give it the color,
Okay.
and then you drop 2 raspberries in it.
I can see that. There now.
I'm telling you right now.
Now we understand 4th of July. 4th of July mimosas.
Makes your 4th of July start off right, and so you're hydrating with the Gatorade. It's a multifaceted drink.
Right, you're getting your electrolytes.
Get a little bit of toasty from the champagne.
Okay.
And you have the raspberries to give you nourishment. It's actually a very strong drink for me.
Well, I just don't know how the Gatorade doesn't bastardize the champagne.
Well, it's usually sparkling water.
Okay.
Sparkling
well,
wine.
that's fine.
Sparkling wine.
Trust me, I'd be better off with sparkling water than doing that into the sparkling wine either.
It's usually sparkling wine.
But
because I've never had quality champagne. I've never had a Dom Perignon. Never once in my life.
There was a point in time years ago when I first started in the restaurant business out of restaurant school, where the exchange rate between the franc and the dollar was so strong in the United States' favor that champagne was really inexpensive, and there are some good French champagne. Well, it's an oxymoron, or a redundancy. But I'm I'm a contrarian by nature. I don't like the creamy, soft ones. I like the flinty champagnes where you can tell the terroir that it was grown in. It's minerally, it's flinty. Which is great for shellfish and oysters as well. That's why I like it. That's like a good flinty sincere.
Are you a mimosa guy, or are you just like champagne?
No, just a champagne.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So, all right, let's shift over to the champagne of the United States.
Miller High Life?
Coca-Cola. Miller High Life.
It's champagne, a bottle of beer.
That's the champagnes of beer. All right, Coca-Cola.
Fine.
All right,
Let's get coked up.
The finest drink of all. All right, so let's talk about Coca-Cola and give us the story. You have Coca-Cola on your list.
I do,
and we only have room for 2 more and we had to get the Coca-Cola.
Well, John Pemberton, who was a Civil War veteran,
Doctor.
Dr. John Pemberton, that's true. He was a pharmacist. I don't know was he a medical doctor or just if as a pharmacist you become a doctor? Because I don't know pharmacists that are doctors, but back then he may have
You
been.
could prescribe and you're a pharmacist, you're a doctor.
Okay, cool.
So.
1886, he comes up with this concoction to deal with the fact that he had created himself a morphine addiction due to injuries he suffered in the Battle of Columbus, which I will presume was in the Civil War.
Okay.
So it's been lingering because it took him to 1886 to make this concoction. And he made something that would try to alleviate his addictive symptoms of morphine.
Okay.
And it was interesting because it was a nerve tonic that he made to relieve the symptoms of the addiction. And it was alcohol and coca leaves.
Yeah.
So it actually had
It was
cocaine.
alcohol and
cocaine, exactly.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that era.
Yeah, well, it was...
Maybe I'm not sorry.
It was good until 1903
Yeah.
when they changed the recipe and took the cocaine out of Coca-Cola. But it served its purpose. And, it's funny, too, because I was just looking at something on the Instagram, on the InstaWeb, and there's a...
Yeah, because I don't think a lot of people realize. I think a lot of people realize cocaine was in Coca-Cola.
It was until 1903, for sure.
I think people realize that. But I don't think people realize the original formula actually had alcohol
Right.
and cocaine in
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah. No, that was double duty. And this was, by the way, to alleviate his addiction to morphine.
Yeah.
So, which is the devil you want to dance with at that point in time? It was funny because I was looking at something on Instagram and it was on one of the food porn sites that just shows you just the greatest things. And this was in a luncheonette in. I'm going to go with Brooklyn, but it might not have been. But I think it was in Brooklyn. I don't think it was Queens. And it was a soda fountain, a luncheonette with a soda fountain. And they were making Coca-Cola with Coke syrup and seltzer.
Yeah.
Carbonated water, and they were mixing their own. It wasn't coming out of a bottle. It wasn't coming out of a soda gun. They were making their own.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you did this when you were younger, but when you were younger and you had a stomach ache or something, did your parents give you Coke syrup?
We didn't have Coke syrup. When I was younger and I complained, I did this formula called Canadian Mist, and I fell right asleep.
That wasn't a formula, dude. That was alcohol.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
That was whiskey.
Oh.
But there was a bottle of it, and it was and it was Coke syrup. And you know what? They never mixed the carbonated water into it. It was not great, but it settled your stomach. So there's always a bottle of that.
Yeah, and Bobby's talking about Mountain Dew over there. Mountain Dew rules, and Mountain Dew was a formula that was used to work with moonshine.
Yeah.
And it was kind of thrown in there to ease the cut of the moonshine. And I believe it was in Tennessee or one of those really Appalachian states, like where a lot of my
Family history
comes from. But it was used to kind of cut the bitterness of the moonshine, and that's where it was actually Mountain Dew originated as just a mixer.
Yeah.
And then the people were just drinking it straight, and then that's how it came to be.
And now it's I think it's kind of one of the most caffeinated forward products on the market these days.
That and Dr. Pepper, I think, is right behind it.
Oh, and I love me my Dr. Pepper.
I love a good Dr.
Oh,
Pepper.
man.
Speaking of another pharmacist.
There you go.
Another pharmacist.
At a Texas. Was it Waco, right?
Yeah.
Give or take?
Yeah, I can't
Somewhere
remember.
in Texas, I think. I may be mistaken.
Well, he was an assistant to a pharmacist, and then he created the formula. He tried to get that pharmacist to push it, and then he went out on his own and did his own thing.
Okay.
So, and the 23 flavors.
Yep.
So
I like Dr. Pepper.
all right, we have time for just one more, and I don't know, what do you have on your list over there?
I'll give you a choice: bubble wrap or Slinky.
See, I have pacemaker or silly putty.
Okay.
I say let's go with bubble wrap.
Okay, bubble wrap's interesting because it started out. There's a couple of goofy guys. They wanted to make. I mean, it came out. They were trying to make a textured wallpaper.
Yes.
In 1957, so they took two shower curtains and fused them together, and the air pockets in between it became the bubbles. And, they wanted to make a textured wallpaper out of that. It didn't catch on. They said, well, wait a second. We can use this to insulate greenhouses.
So this was Fielding and Chavez?
Yeah. And that didn't work either. But they kept humping it. And then IBM comes out with their first, I think it was the 1401 computer IBM had. And in 1959, these guys go, we got you. That's a very delicate instrument you have there. Wrap it in our bubble wrap. And they were the ones who convinced IBM to transport their delicate computers in this bubble wrap situation to prevent the things from knocking around a little bit. And, the sealed air company went on its way.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So that's
how it became the packaging material.
Yeah.
They convinced IBM to transport their computers in their newly created bubble wrap, which was a failure as wallpaper. Go figure. I can understand why. And the insulation for greenhouses, which kind of make a little sense.
All right. That is the end of our show. We're a little bit over, but if you guys want to continue to go do your own research, because I know we have such a smart group. I love the story about the pacemaker. I love the story about silly putty
and the slinky.
You had the slinky. You had another one over there too that I can't remember which one we left off. I feel like we left one of yours off that was really good.
No, Listerine, which is kind of scary.
Listerine. Okay.
That was a spooky one.
Ketchup.
And Post-it notes. Ketchup. I wanted to hear about ketchup.
Quick story about ketchup. Ketchup started off as a medicine to soothe the stomach and stuff like that. The problem with ketchup, it didn't originally start off with because tomatoes were considered poisonous for many years because of the acidic against the pewter.
That works.
And it made people very sick. But ketchup later became a condiment, which is the number one selling condiment in the United States now. But ketchup originally started as a medicine.
Wow.
So, all right. Make sure you get out there, share the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We appreciate you guys and love you guys so much.
Thank you
watching. For all your amazing comments. This is Bollox Talks and Tangents, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.